My name is Christian de Boer. I'm the managing director of a little hotel here in Siem Reap, Cambodia, Jaya House, River Park. And welcome to today's episode of Hospitality Daily.
Christian is an extraordinary hotelier, recognized by travelers around the globe as one of the best of the best.
We have been on the TripAdvisor top 25 hotels in the world now for 5 years in a row, I believe.
They go over the top in delighting their guests.
Of course, breakfast is included. Why don't we do the guest laundry? All of it. Not one piece, two pieces, but whatever they want to give us, one basket or two baskets or their whole suitcase. Why don't we try to impress the guest and give them an hour massage every day? Early check-in, late checkout, not a problem. We can pick them up if they go for dinner or any other stuff. All of the guests get a little Nokia telephone to call us if after dinner they want us to pick them up.
And in doing that, they have achieved the extraordinary.
We have not one single bad review, no complaints at all, neither TripAdvisor or Google or any other of the social media channels.
On top of all of that, he is an ambassador for hospitality, becoming the first foreign hotelier to speak in North Korea.
Your former president, his meetings in Singapore with Kim Jong-un were planned from the hotel here. And during one of those meetings, I was asked if I'm interested in coming to North Korea and do a speech. I said yes.
I'm fascinated by the notion of hospitality, building bridges, bridging cultures. Tell us, our listeners, a little bit about how this came to be.
I said yes, in the same way as that people today and tomorrow will say yes to dinner invitations that they know they don't want to go to, but to be polite, they'll say yes. This is how I said yes. And when I, about 5 months later, received the actual invite and the dates and all of those things, of course I didn't want to go. I mean, I do watch YouTube, I do watch CNN. Of course I didn't want to go, but then felt really a little bit like a loser. Saying yes in someone's face and saying no behind their back. That's hypocrisy. So I thought long and hard, and I thought I needed to put my big man shoes on and let's go. And if this is the end of it, then so be it. So I went, and trust me, I was extremely nervous, but I went, and I have to say, I did see a side of that country which is spectacular. And for those of people that will then say, well, you were followed and you were only shown this and you were only shown that, partially true, yes. But it's the same if I would go to see you in San Francisco, and you're going to show me around San Fran. You're not going to show me the parts where the opioids addicts are living. You're not showing me that. You're showing me the Golden Gate and all of the beautiful things. That's the same there. So with that in mind, they did show me around, but I personally have a habit in any country that I've been, I always have a haircut there. And I did have my haircut in North Korea. And we went around, and it was me who decided left or right or up or down or whatever other thing I decided at that point in time, and was welcomed with absolute open arms in a fantastic way. So if given the chance, I would not hesitate in going again.
Why do you always get a haircut in every country you visit?
I don't know. There's no answer to. There's no common sense. There's no logic. It's just something that I do, and it's. I know it's stupid, but it's something that I do.
So tell me a little bit about the invitation. What was the invitation to do? What specifically, were you doing, and how did that come to be?
It was a speech at the university where they teach anything related to tourism. Now, note they haven't had tourism for quite a while, and things and technologies and knowledge and what is trendy right now. It was a little bit like the 60s, yes. In one way. In another way, it was also very much right now. And with that, I mean, everyone seemed to have a mobile. They do have internet, but it's intranet. So it's a countrywide internet system that does not get any news from outside. And the local news doesn't go outside. So it's actually a really large intranet. They all had mobiles, and they all looked a lot like the then trendy version of iPhone, whatever the number was then. And it's I did not see hungry people. The supermarkets that I did see, and it was about 3, I think, all had good shelves, had good food, and yes, I probably was in the more affluent areas of Pyongyang. But even driving through the countryside, was rice field after rice field after rice field, and it really was a little bit probably like the Europe or Eastern Europe in the 1950s, or any of those kind of things. So thank you.
Interesting. How did you think about preparing for this presentation and what you would share here?
Signed up as an advisor to the United Nations. And part of what I do down there and what I want to do is to showcase that there's a different way of running a hotel. Showcase that you can be one of the best hotels apparently on the planet. We have been on the TripAdvisor top 25 hotels in the world now for 5 years in a row, I believe. We have 3,500 reviews. We have not one single bad review, no complaints at all, neither TripAdvisor or Google or any other of the social media channels. We have no sales team. We've never traveled anywhere. We're not part of the likes of Virtuoso, Signature, any of the other ones, because I don't think that's worth it anymore. That's very much an early 2000 way of operating a hotel. Things have changed, and things need to change, and things need to continuously evolve and move on. Right now, we have technology like what we're doing right now, but also Instagram, TripAdvisor, Google, it's all there, and it's all for us to explore. Thus, whilst we're using the new technology, that means we can leave some of the older technology behind. And a sales trip, by and large, is old technology. The whole concept of it is old technology. Me trying to convince, me flying to, I don't know, somewhere else, Little Rock, Arkansas, to convince some kind of a travel agency, group of travel agencies to book our little hotel. That's, let me fly cheap in an economy. That's $1,800 for an airfare return. Cheap hotels, $200 a night in a hotel. Quite quickly, you'll spend, if it's the United States, at least 10 days. So that's already 5,000 US dollars, and I haven't done anything yet. I still need domestic flights. I still need to, host people, buy dinner and lunches. So quite quickly, you spend 10, 12,000 US dollars. Any idea how many jobs that is for us? How many jobs I would be wasting in one sales trip to the United States? Which is why we don't do it. So, but as a result, all my staff is full-time. All my staff is actually experienced. All my staff feels comfortable in their job. They know they're not going to lose their job next week. So we've actively looked at trying to make our guests our sales team. My guests they booked their flight already. And since they live in Little Rock, Arkansas, they already have a house there, so they don't need to pay for the hotel. So for me, it's a lot cheaper to simply impress them than to travel to any city in the United States or elsewhere in the world. So what does a guest really, really annoy? In the United States, in the US market, that's stupid things like resort fees. Of course, breakfast is included. I mean, who doesn't eat anything or doesn't drink a coffee in the morning? We know the temperature at times could easily be 100 Fahrenheit here. So why don't we do the guest laundry? All of it. Not one piece, two pieces, but whatever they want to give us. One basket or two baskets or their whole suitcase. Why don't we try to impress the guest and give them an hour massage every day? And so if one couple on their honeymoon stays with us for 4 nights, that's 8 spa treatments they'll get if they want to. Why do hotels in the West nickel and dime about early check-in as if it's a big deal? Why, if I stay in a hotel and I ask if it's okay, perhaps to check out at 2, they always have, I need to ask the manager. Why is it so difficult? You have empty rooms. What are you going to do with it? Why not make me happy? So early check-in, late checkout, not a problem. We give our guests every day a tuk-tuk from 7 o'clock, which is like a horse and carriage, then with a motorbike. A tuk-tuk from 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. anywhere in town. So we can bring them, we can pick them up if they go for dinner or any other stuff. All of the guests get a little Nokia telephone to call us if after dinner they want us to pick them up. And we don't have what I think are stupid reasons. And I remember being in a hotel in Las Vegas, and I was not allowed to use the swimming pool after 6 p.m. It's a big hotel. I find that strange. Why not? And it's for security. What kind of security? I don't understand it. So we don't have that. If somebody wants to go swimming at 11 p.m., please do. Please use the big pool so there's no noise. But if people want to give people freedom. Let people do what they want to do. And obviously within reasons and decency, but in principle, let people do what they want to do. Coffee. Why do hotels so often have that horrible plastic Nescafe thing that no one can open? Try to open it at 7 o'clock in the morning. I can't. So now you're just waking up. You're trying to make yourself a coffee. You're trying to open that thing. And then eventually when you open, it's all the way. Half of it is on the floor. You're standing on your bare foot. So you're stepping in it. Why is it all so difficult? Why is it not just simply a good coffee? Why is my milk a milk powder that used to be coffee 7 years ago? No, let's just make things proper. If you're paying a fortune for a hotel, and prices in the United States are not cheap, why is the coffee in plastic? Why is it the milk powder? It's all of those useful and useless things that I think we've taken away, which generally blows people away. And that makes them think, wow, I'm actually a guest in the traditional sense of the word. In the West, people that walk into a hotel are merely seen as you're going to make me money, and how can I take as much money from you as possible? Here, I want people that choose us to actually be guests and feel like we're taking care of them in the same way as you, I hope for you, would take care of your family if they come and visit you. And when you get friends over or your family over and they're going to from out of town, so they're staying with you, are you asking them for a credit card? The first thing they say, the first thing you see, where's your credit card? Are you going to nickel and dime them with, oh, hold on, you had your Diet Coke this morning? Why? You don't. So, but it's all the childish behavior that I don't think we do. And as a result, people are generally happy. And as a result, word of mouth. And as a result, that's my marketing.
Christian,
So
if I could, I would love to hear how you describe your business and your properties, how it all got started, because you built a career in working your way up in more traditional hospitality concepts. What you're describing is hospitality that feels intuitive. It feels like it's common sense, but it is so rare, actually. And so I'm curious about, how did your business get started, and how did you, were all the things that you're describing a part of your hotels from day one, or has it been an evolutionary process?
All from day one. Mainly because we had no choice. The pillar of the hotel is that we only have full-time staff. In Cambodia, if I would, I don't know, next week decide it's low season, I don't need so many staff, I'm going to terminate 20 people. Great. Those 20 people, we're not talking about numbers, we're talking about persons. Those 20 people all have a family. Those 20 people have bills to pay for their family. Some might have a son, a daughter, child, a parent to take care of. It's my responsibility that they have enough money to be able to do that. So all my staff is full-time. I wanted to have the best healthcare of any company in the country. And but that means that my cost base is higher. So I had to save on something. And what is, after staffing, the most expensive thing a hotel can do is the sales trip. The sales trips for that hotels are apparently forced to do. What if we simply cut it out? What if we simply take all of it away? We make that zero. And then the next question came up: how do we make our guests our sales team? How do we impress them enough that when they go home, and they've reached home, they've slept for a day, their friends will call them and think, "Oh my God, how was it?" How can we get them to say, "Oh my God, stayed at this fantastic tiny hotel in the middle of nowhere that was out of this world"? How can we achieve that? And that's really what we try to do.
What did you have to push through to make that happen? Because what you're describing, if I think about it at a high level, it's not revolutionary in the sense that hospitality providers have always said you delight your guests and you're going to have a profitable business. But what I'm hearing from you is you've pushed through a lot of the notions of how a hotel business needs to run, right? Whether it's sales trips or other things that you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned. What did you find challenging that you had to push through? Is it more of an upfront investment? Is it kind of I'm trying to think of like, why aren't more hotels doing this? It makes so much sense, but yours are clearly standing out and you're operating differently. So what did you have
None,
to move through to get
none,
there? No. Okay.
zero, absolutely zero. The Mainly because it was the pillar of the hotel, and this is who we are. And look, it paid off. We're now the busiest hotel in town, and we're doing good. But it's obvious. I mean, I remember being asked by one of the big groups of travel agencies in the United States to become part of them, and I would get a piece of metal to put on the front door to tell everyone how good we are. But that piece of metal would cost me $32,000 US.
Oh my gosh.
$32,000. I don't need a piece of metal on my front door to tell people how good we are. Let us spend that money, that exact money. Let's spend it on our guests. And it's the same. Word of mouth is so strong. And people, I think each individual that would potentially come to Cambodia, that person would have to hear from 2 or 3 people in the industry that, oh, you should stay at this hotel. It's great. It's fantastic. I've seen their piece of metal on the door. But they would only need to hear from one person they trust. And that's a friend or an acquaintance or somebody whom they know has been here. So instead of trying to impress 2 people, and that's largely paying for it, they only need to hear from one. And so word of mouth, I honestly think 70, 80, 90% perhaps of my guests have had somebody else in their circle of friends here. And the amount of times that I could ask, oh, do you know our friends? They stayed with you 7 months ago, John and Anne from Milwaukee. Do you remember them? I think, well, not really. But that's how it works. That's how tourism now works, and it's word of mouth, and the credibility of a friend is a lot higher than the credibility from a piece of metal at the front door. So no, we're not part of that group of agents.
It seems you've gotten really good at saying no to things that could be distractions. What if
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing you, part of your decision framework is, does this make life better for
Our
my
staff.
teams and as well as for my guests? And if the answer is no, you're not doing that. Is that right? Like, how do you? What's your decision framework for if you have an opportunity that comes up?
But the decision is always really quick. I mean, there are 2 people here, myself and my number 2. We make all the decisions. It's done in an instant. So it's generally a question from me to him or from him to me, and then an answer, and that's a decision. So look, um, there is no group or association of people that are thinking along the same lines right now. I do believe there's probably more hotels like us. Um, but they're perhaps a little bit less outspoken, or I don't know, opinionated, I guess. No, it's look, this way of thinking, it's also killed any opportunity for myself. Huh? There's a lot of hotel groups there where I'll never be able to work again, which is okay. And because of this way of thinking, to say out loud that a hotel does not need a sales team, and in principle, all of those people can be terminated and a lot of that money can be saved, that doesn't make you popular in the hotel industry. But it is a fact. And I think it's a fact. And I'm convinced that any hotel, even the bigger hotel groups, could work this way. And because we all, in our daily lives, you go to your local, if you want to go for a drink somewhere, you go to your local bar, wherever that might be. You buy your food at your local supermarket, or this person or that person. And we're all creatures of habit. So word of mouth or personal experiences is absolutely critical, and it's often completely undervalued. And oh yeah, that's what I think it is.
Your hotels, your business have been recognized as among the best in the world, and from numerous publications. I'm curious for you, what is the most meaningful award or recognition that you've received?
I guess it's TripAdvisor,
Yeah.
because that's guests, that's actual people. Now, a lot of people, every time that we're in it, every time within a few days, I'll hear that I buy the reviews. I've even heard that I own TripAdvisor. All of those things. I think, wow, imagine if I would own. That would be cool. Or if I could buy them, if that is the reason, why does none of the other hotels do it? If it's apparently that simple to buy your reviews, then why does the Four Seasons not do it? And any of those things. Now, reality is you can't. You can't buy 3,500 5-star reviews and 0 zeros. Mainly because if we would today have a guest checking in who books us because of our reviews, and if we then turn out to be actually it's all fake, it's all a lie, that person will be the first one to write down straight away. And what TripAdvisor does, it keeps you on your feet. It keeps us active, and it means we have to impress every single guest, every single day, every single time. And look, it takes a bit of time to get used to that way of thinking, but once it's done, it's done. And once that system is running and once that machine is running, then it's all fine. Then it's relatively easy.
It's a good point you mentioned, because I spent years of my career working at a business that was all around managing online reputation. And so I saw this question come up again and again. And it's a good point, right? Because like, even if you theoretically could buy online reviews, which for many reasons isn't the case, but like you would get some negative reviews. That is absolutely insane. You have no negative reviews, because in any business, things go wrong. How do you have 0 negative reviews? That's incredible.
Well, no, it's not. By being here, by being on the ground, in too many hotels, whoever's in charge, the person sits in an office. He arrives at 8:30 in the morning. He leaves at 5:30. He has meetings and meetings and P&L reports and this report and head office meetings and whatever other kind of meetings with people. He's actually not on the ground. He has no clue what he's doing. He's not involved in any of the things dealing with guests, because he's completely absorbed in the paperwork nonsense. I barely do any paperwork. The paperwork that I have some staff doing that for me. That means I can walk around. I can talk to my guests. I can deal with their issues, deal with their worries, find out what the stresses are. And when things go wrong here, I don't know, an air conditioning that doesn't work and it's 100 Fahrenheit outside. That's a problem. Let's be open about it. Let's be simple. I'm so sorry, we've made a mistake. Let's deal with it. Instead of hiding or, oh, I don't know, my my boss, I need to wait for the management or this or that. No, my top 10 staff members are all completely allowed to do whatever they want. If they want to give away a guest a complimentary night, please do. So it's dealt with straight away, and not, you need to write us a letter, you need to do us this, you need to whatever. A guest has to jump through hoops whilst the hotel has made a mistake. That's wrong. The hotel should immediately go up to the guest and, hold on, we've made a mistake. This is not good enough. This is not what we normally do. Here is, I don't know, either compensation or this, or give them a complimentary night. Deal with it straight away and head on. And that takes away any stresses. Every guest, I would like to think anywhere in the world, they're perfectly fine when things go wrong. They are getting frustrated when no one deals with it, or when they're being told, sorry, you need to go to that line, or you need to do that, or not. The hotel does something wrong. This is what we will do. No, it's you need to do this, you need to do that, and no, it's too much of an issue. The same as with the airlines. Now you have to stand in a line. It's 2024. Why does the airline not immediately, okay, we've rebooked you on this. Here is whatever, how much it is to book a hotel for 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights, bang, done. Instead of, you need to write into us and deal with customer services department. It's 24 now. This should be enormously fast, and this should be upfront. That's how you create loyalty.
It really is. So one thing I'm genuinely curious about, Christian, is I've been involved in helping hotels understand where they sit on online reputation for many years, and I'm curious today in 2024. In your view, is TripAdvisor just as important as it has always been? Word of mouth clearly is so important to you. How do you view the importance of TripAdvisor today, and kind of its impact on your business and the industry?
TripAdvisor used to be, is still critical, still absolutely critical. But there's now also Google, and Google is also critical. Google has, I think, invested a lot of time, effort, technology into making itself critical. So now you've got two, and they both need to reflect. They both need to be the same, otherwise it's not going to be good. And on top of that, you have word of mouth, and then I'm sure you have some smaller ones, the Booking.com reviews and all kinds of other review sites that people have, including one that's really normal in the United States, but honestly, I'd never heard of before, Yelp. Apparently, we're doing good on Yelp. Now that's luck. I'd never heard of that, but we're on it as well now. So it's all of that will follow. It's first a business that needs to be good, and then the rest will follow. A TripAdvisor should be a reaction to the actual service people have had. Google is the same. Yelp is identical. So all of that will follow from an actual business model. Where we're trying to impress a guest and not piss them off.
Well, it's a great point, because if there were only one review site out there where people could share, maybe you could spend all your time trying to optimize that. What I'm hearing from you is TripAdvisor is still critically important, but there's others that are also very important. And so rather than just trying to optimize your presence on each, well, you are, I guess, but you're doing that by running a good hotel business, right? On delighting your guests, and then wherever they decide to talk about that experience,
that's good.
That's going to happen. But you're not trying to just be out there, spend all day trying to optimize a digital profile. I am curious, though, for you leading the business, what metrics are most important to you? Because it sounds like word of mouth is a key one. Kind of like, how do you assess, are we doing what our mission here is to do?
Look, I don't think it's the hotel. For me personally, it's about showcasing that one can run a hotel, one can be a hotel, and apparently a good hotel, whilst sticking to what you believe in. And in my case, that is being plastic free, it being single-use plastic free. It means employing full-time staff. It means having the best healthcare of any company in the country. So those are my pillars, and we stick to that, and then the rest will follow. And the hotel makes all of that happen. The hotel gives us the opportunity to make all of that happen. And that then really filters through and comes back, because that also means happy staff. And happy staff, they're the ones working. They're the ones making sure my guests are happy, which creates word of mouth. It's all of those pieces of the puzzle are really critical. And so, do I focus on TripAdvisor, Google? Not really. Um, I respond, yes, but it's not 90% of my day. All of the other things are it's just something I like doing more, to be honest. And I'd like us to be creative. I'd like us to be different. There's a hotel in town here that imports a Christmas tree every year from Canada. Now, to DHL a tree over from Canada to here is $8,000. They have three. That's $24,000 for 2 weeks in a Buddhist country. We don't have Christmas in Cambodia. We don't know what Christmas is. So there's no way I would DHL a Christmas tree to here. But we still need to do something for our guests. So what we did instead, and I'll tell you the price in a second, we ordered the little gravel, and 24,000 of them. The ceiling in the restaurant is 6 meters high. So we hung 24,000. We painted each of them individually black, because they're gray originally. So we hung 24,000 hand painted, individually hung black stones from the ceiling into the shape of a Christmas tree. Now, that is what impresses a guest. That wows a guest. And it means that because it's handmade, it took us 3 months with 3 staff, 9 hours a day, 6 days a week to make it happen. And that is still here. I think that's more of a Christmas spirit than importing a tree by DHL. Also, because that tree, what for our guests is our tree, internally it was a training tool. Internally, it was nothing to do with Christmas. Internally, it shows that if every one of those 24,000 stones hangs at the right level to the best of its ability, something pretty comes out. On the same note, all of those stones are connected to the one next to it, showcasing teamwork. So even if one stone makes a mistake, it's fine, because the stones next to it are still there. So showing teamwork. Now that thing cuts on both sides. So yes, it's a Christmas tree for the guests, and it's a team building tool and an explanation tool towards my staff. Total cost, excluding staff, because I said 3 months, 3 staff, 9 hours a day, 6 days a week, is a whole $825. So instead of 24,000, $825, whilst I'm convinced there are more images on the internet of our Christmas tree than that particular hotel.
I love that creativity. Yeah.
We need to be different. I mean, not too far from where I'm sitting right now is a duck sofa, which made out of, I think it's 375 plush ducks, which we made here with the team. So it's about being different. It's about being creative. It's about creating wow moments, and that doesn't always mean spending money. It means think differently. It's about be different. That's it. That's who we are.
It's who you are, and I'm hearing this over and over again, whether it's regards to the guest experience, if it's with regards to how you think about hiring people. I wonder if we could speak for a little bit about how thinking different and thinking creatively shows up in how you think about sustainability. Feels like everyone talks about sustainability. You were one of the first to ban the use of single-use plastics in 2016. I wonder if, I guess I would love to just hear your thoughts around kind of what that journey to sustainability has been for you, because there's a lot of people listening to this that I think have good intentions and haven't quite followed through with that with action. And so I wonder if you could speak to the hospitality providers that are listening into this conversation and kind of share what your experience has been on this journey, and how do you think creatively in this domain?
If I say simple, if I say it was actually really simple, it was easy to do. It took a little bit of work, but it was easy to do. Never in 8 years have we ever had a single person here in the hotel that thought, oh no, I want whatever they wanted. Not at all. Guests are more than ready. On the same note, guests and people are fed up with people talking. They simply want things done now. The Here, literally in front of me, this is a straw that we have. It's made out of bamboo. So I employ two families about 20 kilometers away from here, out in the countryside, two people who both lost their legs from landmines 30 years ago. And we employ them to grow our bamboo, which they clean and cut and make straws out of it. I mean, we've had them for 8 years. Every single guest that has ever walked through the doors has had one of those straws. Zero complaints. In the rooms, we have actual milk. So not too far from here, in the lobby, is a whole tray with small bottles with real milk in it. So if somebody wants to drink milk tomorrow morning or use in their coffee or whatever else, just take one. Which means I don't have to have those plastic water bottles, plastic milk cartons or something inside the rooms. But here's real milk in a glass bottle, just like all of those years ago when milk was actually in a glass bottle. And anyone who drank it then, they all survived by miracle. I'm not sure. So they all survived the period that people were drinking milk from a glass bottle. So can't we simply go back to that? Instead of putting, depending if you're if you're a guest house, put 2 plastic water bottles in the room. If you're an upmarket hotel, apparently you need to do more than that. You need to put 6 or 8 bottles in the room. We have none of that. Each of my guests gets this bottle. At home, people can put coffee and tea and it will stay warm. Here, they might just want to put water in it because, well, it's warm. But they all get this bottle.
This is good, Christian. I was just saying, like, if people are listening to the audio only, they're going to have to check out YouTube, because you're giving some great illustrations. You have the bamboo straws, you have the water bottle. People are going to want to see this stuff. So make sure you're watching on YouTube, but carry on.
So they get this bottle, and that it's then their bottle. They can bring it home. And so one, they're saving plastic and by not using it. 2, added benefit, it's also pretty damn good marketing. Because it has my logo in it. So for years to come, people will see this bottle and think, "Oh, remember when we stayed at this little hotel in Cambodia?" And which makes it a talking point, which means my future guests. So how much has all of this cost? Apart from that, we have the bamboo toothbrushes in the room and our shampoo, all of those things to reduce the traveling costs of those shampoo and the footprint. We actually make it ourselves. We make all of our shampoo and conditioner, mosquito spray, all of it here in Siem Reap. And yes, it's at a decent level, to a degree that Forbes in the United States actually wrote about it, how good it is. Vogue wrote about it, how good it is. But it's made here in Siem Reap, about 6 minutes away from here. And it's in glass bottles. So reducing the footprint. So we've so actively looked at all of the plastic, all of the areas throughout the hotel where we would use plastic, instead of the big plastic bags, the big black plastic bags. Ours are made out of cassava. Just as good as those big plastic bags are the ones now made out of cassava. The industry has changed. Even the plastic-free industry has changed. All of the things that 6 years ago, the cassava bags were not good enough. They were simply not strong enough to hold all of the garbage. Now, 6 years later, they're perfectly fine. So it's a choice. It's a choice that somebody like me makes. We either order 10,000 straws for in our drinks, or we order bamboo straws, and along the way also employ 2 families. So it's a way of thinking, and once you start that way of thinking, you can't. I mean, I couldn't really stop, because there's so much plastic, and for a tiny country with a very relatively small tourism industry, Cambodia, if you think of the numbers, it really is shocking. Cambodia uses 4.6 million plastic water bottles every single month. Every single month, 4.6 million. Now, somebody sitting in the West will think, well, why don't they recycle? I then fire back, why don't you recycle? The United States recycles less than 5% of its plastic. So you don't either. So why, instead of recycling, simply stop using it? We don't need to recycle. Clearly, as a Western country, we're not good at recycling. The UK, the United States recycles less than 5% of its tourism-related plastic. The Netherlands, unfortunately, we do a whole 3%. So I think it's safe to say Cambodia doesn't recycle, which means that 4.5 million plastic water bottles every single month end up in the oceans, if they're burned, into smoke, or in the rivers or the lakes or everywhere else. And it's simply time to stop. And in my personal pet hate, there's a lot of B Corp companies now, and B Corp is really cool and trending. If you're a B Corp, then you're the bee's knees. But it's not really factual what they're saying. How come a B Corp certified travel company is able to give a single-use plastic water bottle the moment their guests arrive at the airport? How? How does that work? Why are you B Corp certified if that's the first thing you do? Why haven't you found a solution? Why haven't you made an effort? If the B Corp is so good, which in principle it is, I think, then this should be a logical next step. And that you simply eliminate and you look through your whole chain, where as a tourism company based in the US or the UK or elsewhere, you look through the whole journey of your guests. And if you're a travel company that deals with journeys through Southeast Asia, then yes, you need to look at what happens to my guests when they arrive at Siem Reap Airport or at Saigon Airport or at Hanoi, because that's where the plastic is used. So I do believe B Corp is a great initiative. It was a great way of thinking, but it's grown very fast. And there's not much control now. And people can almost do whatever they want, as long as they, in every sentence, use the word sustainable and sustainability, then that's all cool. But it's about action. It's not about marketing words. It's about action. The days, I think you're too young for this, but not too long ago, about 15 years ago, there was a certain hotel group that had in every single one of their bathrooms, and this is 6,000 hotels, had the little card in the bathroom: at this hotel, we care for the environment. If you hang your towel, we will plant a tree for you. I did that. I did hang my towel. I went back to the room to hang my towel because I felt good. Yes, they're going to plant a tree for me, and that's a good thing. If you do the calculation, 6,000 hotels, let's keep them all small. That's 100 rooms, so nothing big, times half the people, times 365 days of the year, times 15 years. That's the Amazon forest that one single hotel group has planted somewhere. Please advise me using Google Earth where you planted it. But obviously this fantastic marketing campaign was initiated before there was a Google Earth. So in those days, we have to believe the hotel groups in their beautiful blue eyes. So that was an easy thing. But now in 2024, we have Google Earth, we have TripAdvisor, we have Instagram, we have all of those things. So it will be easy for this hotel group to show us where. That is, unless they can't actually show us where, since they've never really planted anything. But perhaps I'm too cynical.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that are jaded and tired of talk. They want action. They want to see real results. I think what you are doing, not only at your hotels, but also as an advocate for this way of operating with the UN. You're an advisor to the UN Environments Program. You're spreading the word through conversations like this. So I appreciate that. I think in that, one of the things that's coming up for me, kind of even related to sustainability is the impact on your local community. And you talk about kind of wanting to be a part of at least an inspiration to plastic not, kind of flooding Cambodia. And I wonder if we could talk a little bit about Cambodia. I know kind of before we started recording, we were just talking about how much you love your region. And I wonder if you could share with our listeners why you love Cambodia, why you love the region you're in, and then how you introduce your guests to that.
Cambodia is literally one of the most beautiful places in the world. The people are continuously being rated as amongst the friendliest in the world. Here, the word hospitality actually means something in Cambodia. People are smiling, people are happy. Our crime rate is enormously low. A lot of times people ask me, oh my God, is it safe to go outside or any of that stuff? And this is people coming from Chicago. I think it's far more dangerous to walk around in Chicago at any time of the day than to be here in Cambodia by yourself as a female. Cambodia is completely safe. Cambodia is misunderstood, yes. And that is today's media, unfortunately. And it's all snap bites, and Cambodia is misunderstood. But I dare to say, anyone who's been here will rave about the country. Unfortunately, we're quite far from the United States and from the West. So not many people have been here. And Cambodia has always a little bit been overlooked. Thailand, a lot of people have been. Vietnam, now a lot of people have been. But people don't really know where Cambodia is. Most people do not know that Cambodia is south of Thailand and to the west of Vietnam. So in between almost. That people don't know. I think if quite often Cambodia is seen as a 2-day trip, as an add-on to either Thailand or Vietnam or elsewhere, but it really deserves a lot more than that. Siem Reap itself, the temples itself, deserve a 4-day trip as a minimum, and then we've got the rest of the country. So it's Cambodia's misunderstood, but almost every single guest that we have will say, "Oh, if only we knew, we would have stayed longer." But that's what I've now been hearing for 18 years, and so it's a bit frustrating that for the US market, the 2-day is still a thing, and people really don't give Cambodia enough credit and enough time. And I would this is the same way of thinking as that whole word of mouth thing. I do think there's a change happening. People now really do expect and search for experiences. If I would be trendy, it would be called experiential travel. But there is some sense of truth in that. People do want to learn, people want to grow, people want to be educated, and that's what I'm allowed to do on a daily basis.
Well, I'm always fascinated by, a couple things of what we've talked about here. One is setting the record straight on misunderstood places. I feel like I'm doing that with San Francisco. I love this place. I feel like the media doesn't always make it look great, but I'm like, if you just saw the right things, but also just what does it look like to introduce people to what a place is really like? And I think from our conversation, what you've described, it's you are showcasing the beauty of Cambodia, not only getting people there, but showcasing the beauty of the people of Cambodia. And so not only the staff that is on property, but you even talked about sourcing your materials, and the bamboo straws or other elements of your design or what you provide are created by people in your surrounding region. And I feel like that's why hospitality is so beautiful, because it involves so many people. You can really introduce
Yeah,
people to a place if you do it well, if you're thoughtful. Some
correct.
resorts almost feel like a fortress and you can't leave, but I get a sense from you, you're inviting people to experience the place.
100% correct. That's what we do for a living.
Hmm.
That's you need to showcase the whole thing, the whole experience, and that's when you make people fall in love with the country and understand the country a little bit.
Last question for you, Christian. How do you stay motivated and inspired and focused on your mission? You've been at this for so many years. It feels like you have very deeply held beliefs on hospitality and how you operate. How do you do that every day? Because it sounds like a lot.
Um, I actually haven't worked a day in my life over the past 20 years. I don't have a job. Um, I don't, to be honest, I don't really understand how people work. I go to work Monday to Friday and wait until it's Friday afternoon. I have a hobby, and this is what I do, and this is what I get paid for. Um, and so it's good. I mean, it's what motivates me with regards to, for instance, that plastic. When I started 9 years ago, and here at Jaya House as being, I want us to be single-use plastic free. Every single person thought I was a complete lunatic. Now, there might have some truth in that, but everyone said it will not work. Consumers demand. One particular hotel general manager told me that his guests demand hygiene, so they will have to use plastic. So that's what we thought collectively 8, 9 years ago. Water has to be in plastic because otherwise you're going to die and all of that stuff. Now, I would like to think I've been able to change that a little bit, do my little 2 cents in making that change. Now, here in Siem Reap, there's 9 single-use plastic-free hotels. So going from 0 to now 9. I would like to think in another 10 years, all of us will be single-use plastic-free. And because it's almost like an awakening. It's almost like, oh my God, this is embarrassing that I've never done this before. I've never noticed this before. The amount of conversations I have with people when I tell them that, oh, well, we don't have plastic in the hotel, but I have this bottle. You quite often can see in guests suddenly think, oh my God, I've just done a whole 12-day trip from northern Vietnam by car all the way to the south. That's 12 days in the car. That's 4 bottles per person. We're the 2 of us. That's 8 bottles. That's 100 plastic bottles that we've just thrown into the environment. Now, that awareness moment, that's what I'd like to create. And that's what we've done now with all of our guests. And so if we can play a tiny bit of a role in creating the change. Look, what we're doing is too late. Don't get me wrong. Climate change is here. The effects are here. It's very much in your face. And unfortunately, Cambodia will be the world's 2nd most affected country by climate change. So it's here already. However, at least I could say that when I die in 20, 30, 40 years from now, that I've tried. That's more than what other people can say. That's more than, for instance, what the CEO of certain hotel groups can say. They're the ones who. Now, if you're in Chicago, you're the CEO of some kind of a large hotel group. You're based in Chicago in a beautiful skyscraper. You've got the top penthouse office. You're looking down and you think, which rubbish? I don't see any rubbish. There is no rubbish. And for those people, the water is poured in a glass thing and it's all really pretty. So they don't really see it as a problem. Until those people change, then nothing will really change. There's a big international group of financial group of people that had their meeting here in Siem Reap a few months ago. And on the website of that particular group, it very clearly states under sustainability or corporate social responsibility, now we care for the environment and all kinds of other fantastic marketing words. Reality, at that meeting 7 weeks ago, every single person had 4 plastic water bottles. Every single person. There were 200 people here. So there's a bit of a disconnect between what's written on the website and what they apparently believe and what happens in reality. That bridge is what I'm hoping to cross by simply sometimes highlighting it. Look, I think there's hope. I do think there's hope. And the same as there are 9 single-use plastic-free hotels now in Siem Reap, whilst a few years ago there were none. There's many more around the world now. So change is happening, but we need to keep on pushing until the change is complete, until every single person will look at the plastic water bottle and think, why are you giving me that? Then the change is complete, and look, by the time I'm also dead, so that's fine.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to share your story, share what you've learned, share what you're doing, and you're driving change not only because it's the right thing to do, but you're driving change in a way that is loved by guests, right? And I think one of the things that's beautiful about hotels is it gives people a chance to step out of their day to day, right, and experience something new to, then hopefully bring that home with them. So thank you, Christian. I've really enjoyed learning from you, and you've inspired me, and I know will inspire our listeners as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Come and visit us in Cambodia.